2 o'clock in the morning? I'm not gonna lie, Chet. Those are the ones it's like, really, you've had pain for 8 hours and you're calling us at 2.
That's not uncommon.
Yeah, I'll try to accommodate you.
You have to schedule things, Chet.
I know I'm not good at that. I think I'm having trouble with my internet. I think I'm gonna probably fade away here.
You're fading away, all right.
I'll just shut. Thanks, Andy. I'll just shut up.
Okay, it looks like we're at 10 o'clock. Morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Checking in. Rachel, I've got multiple screens, windows open here. So do we have a quorum?
Yeah, we're good.
We're good to go. Okay, then looks like at least my time says it's 10:01. We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. And I think everybody on here knows each other, unless there's a need to do introductions. I think we all see the names and faces up here. So we'll move right along. The approval of the agenda. Did anybody have a request to change the agenda? If not, I'd look for a motion to approve it.
One small edit.
Okay.
The motion under the approval of the meeting minutes, can we change the date to the 1/13/21?
Yeah, make it match.
Yeah, please. Thank you.
Okay. So we will let the record reflect that. We'll just change that date to match the actual meeting minute dates of January 13th.
So I'll move that we approve the agenda.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the agenda with that minor change of the date. Any other discussion on the agenda? All right, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, the agenda is approved. Let's see, I guess then next would be the approval of the minutes from January 13th. Any needed changes to the minutes?
Let's see any.
I'd move that we accept the minutes as presented.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes as presented. Any further discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Is there any opposed? All right, the minutes are approved. Next, I'll check in for public comment. Rachel, do you see anybody from the public wishing to comment?
The chat box is empty.
Okay. Then if there's no public comment, we'll keep moving along. Item 5, payables. Has everybody had a chance to review the payables? And do you have any questions or comments?
Well, Joe, this is Kurt. I have one. Last year, as I recall, Rachel, we provided the detail on those Visa payments to Red Canoe. And I noticed again on this claim cycle and in earlier ones, it seems we've dropped that. And, for this month, we had a $6,500 payment to Red Canoe for the Visa expense. I was wondering if, again, maybe the board could be provided some level of detail on those.
Yes, I apologize. I forgot to break out the detail for Red Canoe. I'll add that for the next one.
Okay, that'd be great. Thank you.
Do you want a copy of that for this after the meeting?
Sure, that'd be great.
Okay.
Be good for the board to have that.
Yep, thank you, Kurt. That's a good catch. Appreciate that. Thanks for being able to make that change, Rachel.
Yes, thank you. Other than that, I'd make a motion to approve the claims as presented.
Okay,
Second. I'd second that.
all right. We have a motion and a second to approve the payables as presented. Any other discussion on the payables? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Is there any opposed? Okay, the payables are approved. Let's see, moving along, item 6, anything for the financial report?
Not for this meeting.
Okay. How about under item 7, do we have any board comments or board committee reports from the Law TAC or the Fire TAC?
I don't believe the fire TAC is met, Joe.
Okay, thanks, Vic. Anything from the law side? I'm looking for folks. Doesn't look like it. Okay, then we'll scoot right along. Do we have? Looks like we don't have any agreements for this agenda, so
We have an additional agreement that we added earlier this week.
oh, my apologies. Yep. Go ahead.
All right, so there's an agreement to take action on. Cowlitz 911 owns a radio tower called Spelei communications facility. The land the tower is on is privately owned with a contractual agreement that all subleases are priced by the private owner and shared with Cowlitz 911 at a 75-25% split. So WSDOT has agreed to pay $25,000 annually to install equipment on the tower. There's a 2.5% increase each year for the first 5 years, an additional 5-year term at the same rate with a 10% term renewal. There was a study that was done in late 2020 that the tower can withstand the WSDOT planned equipment. And if the lease is approved, there's still room for additional equipment for Cowlitz 911 or for additional subleases. And then lastly, our SME, Deanna Wells and Frank Randolph have been involved in the process that mirrored other subleases, but there was a valid concern about insurance. And after meeting with both of them, we believe that we can add the insurance to the agreement. So right now, the recommendation is to approve the sublease by WSDOT with the caveat that insurance be mandated by us. Any questions on that for the agreement?
Not seeing any, Dave.
I think I addressed all the concerns that were put forth. So that would be our recommendation, that we would get the insurance or mandate the insurance, and then we'd okay the sublease with WSDOT.
Okay. Is there any questions or comments?
Joe, I would make the motion to approve the agreement with the
Second.
addition of the insurance rider.
Okay. Thank you, Vic. Who
Second.
seconded that?
Second.
Yep. Okay. Thank you, Chet. We have a motion and a second to approve the agreement. Is there any further discussion at this time? All right. Hearing or seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Is there any opposed? All right. That motion passes.
All right, then moving on to the policy change. We had a policy here that had to do with step increases, and I looked at it thoroughly, and the date of the anniversary seems to be the most fair process. It eliminates all subjective determinations on the step increase. So the policy change would be that the step increase would take place on the date of the anniversary, and then we would prorate any time during the pay period for that. And then, like I said, it eliminates the subjective determination for this policy. So I recommend approving the policy.
Any questions for Dave on the policy?
I'd move approval of policy 009.
Second,
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the policy. Any further discussion on this item? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Is there any opposed? All right, the motion passes. And then up next would be right into our director's report. I'll turn it over to Dave.
All right, so the director's report, we're going to go under the staffing update first. We hired one trainee yesterday. So we're authorized to have 23 dispatchers. Right now we have 18 plus 3 in training, so that's 21. And we're also authorized to have 2 supervisors, and we've got 1. So for the year, our plan is to hire 3 dispatchers and promote 1 supervisor. So that's the overall plan. We've got it broken down in a timeline that I presented at the last board meeting. Right now, 3 dispatchers are out, 2 on medical and 1 on maternity leave. Any questions on the staffing?
are these long-term absences or just regular type of, you expect them back in a week or so?
The 2 medical absences, one can't use their hand right at the moment. We'll be back within probably a month. The other one had surgery and may be out for a month or 2. The maternity leave is due back about a month from now.
So we covering these with overtime then, Dave? Is that the situation?
That's what we're doing right at the moment. Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Moving on to the facility update. We're still projected on time and on budget. Norm Crable and I made contact with the local Lowe's management to ease their concerns on the time schedule for construction. Apparently, a bunch of the agreements were done with Lowe's corporate, so the local people needed to understand what our timetable was. So we're going to do minimal impact to their delivery system at the 2 spots that we're going to have construction on in their back parking lot and their side parking lot. Norm Crable and I met with Patriot and walked the site for the groundbreaking planning. And we'll have some gravel put in there so that people are not walking through mud to go to the groundbreaking. Tentatively right now, we've got it scheduled for either March 1st or March 2nd. And then the decision's going to be made for a date certain on February 2nd. And then invites will be sent out after that decision. And we will be practicing social distancing. So the VIP should probably limit their staff at the groundbreaking attendance. And we continue to have the owner and architect contractor Zoom meetings weekly to deconflict issues. And many of the issues that came up this last week were deconflicted in that meeting. So those are very productive, and we continue to do that weekly. That's the facility update. Any questions on anything that I can answer? All right, moving to the radio updates. So we've had some problems this last week. This past weekend, while waiting for parts to fix the satellites, we had the Kelso frequency go down due to equipment failure. This was fixed temporarily, but went down again. Monday, a more permanent fix was put in place. So while Kelso was down, they worked off of a TAC frequency. So that was our radio concern for this last week, and it has to do with updating the equipment that I briefed you on the last meeting. Any questions on radio equipment?
So Dave, one question, this is Vic.
Yes, sir.
Is that equipment redundant or are we talking singular?
1 second.
Vic, it was a Raven voter. And as you probably know, the Ravens have apparently a tendency to get stuck open. So we were waiting for parts on a JPS voter. And they had the chassis, but they needed the cards. So they got the chassis, the cards, and installed the JPS, replacing the Raven. And what happened on the weekend was the Raven that was in there actually completely failed. And so they had a backup Raven, they put that in, and then they started having, no, they didn't start having issues. They came in Monday with the JPS, got the cards, and installed that. They had a little hiccup during the installation where they weren't reaching the Columbia Heights repeater, but they got that squared away. So it seems to be good and stable. And I haven't had any negative feedbacks at this point. It seems to be working fine.
So was that one of the Ravens that was installed after JPS went out of business?
I'm sorry, what?
Was that one of the Ravens that was installed after JPS went out of business?
Was that one of the reasons it was installed?
The Ravens.
Was that one of the Ravens that was installed after JPS went out of business here?
Yeah. Yes, sorry.
No, that's okay. And I'm just asking the question. That's not good that we had a failure of the Raven that soon. So
They've been problematic.
yeah, well, and JPS is back up anyway, so that's good.
I know, so that's a good thing.
Yeah,
They're pretty stable.
that is a good thing. So, okay, thank you.
All right, so that's the radio update. I added something that I think is important for you guys to understand, and that's the analytics update. The question is the public getting the good service that they need? And so the most common measurement right now for 911 calls is 911 calls answered 95% of the time under 10 seconds. And you see the printout that we gave you. And right now we're above the standard. We're answering at 96.74%. And I'll continue to update you at each meeting about our analytics. Any questions on that?
No questions. I do have a comment. I appreciate the addition of that information. I think going forward, I know I appreciate having a better understanding of that and kind of knowing where we're at with those metrics. So thank you for putting that on there.
All right. Any other questions?
Dave, this is Alan Headley.
Yes, sir.
Just a question. Last meeting, there was some discussion about an issue with the pole out at the Station 22 Baker's Corner. Did that get resolved, or are we still having issues with that?
It has not been resolved. We have to go through the permitting process with the city. I have talked with the contractor and let them know that we will not be paying that invoice at this time until we get all of this permitting squared away and We do not have a contract with them. We have a contract with Day Wireless. So if they're a sub under Day Wireless, that's how they'll have to do the invoicing, and they were fine with that, but we have to get the permitting squared away. And I'm working with Mark Palins, but currently we are kind of buried in 2 other contracts that we've been working on.
Okay. So
And
that's,
I reached out to the city several times, to Adam. I think he's probably really busy transitioning into a new role, and I just haven't heard anything back from him.
okay.
What do you-
So it's primarily just the permit issue then that's holding
Yeah.
up.
Yep.
So what are we waiting for there, Deanna? A permit for the pole?
Yeah, and we have some questions. Day Wireless had initially reached out to the city, and Adam had said, I don't know if he was understood what kind of a site we were putting in there, like if he thought it was like a great big, freestanding tower. I think it's a 80-foot pole, and it sunk 20 feet. So I want to say it's like a 60-foot pole that we're putting it, or that's in there. And he was saying that we had to do, public comment and this big long application like we did for the facility. And so we just need to kind of have a conversation with him, talk about that, and see if that's the process we have to take, we will. But do we need to do that for this wooden pole?
So who's the contact? Is it you or is it someone at Day Wireless? I'll have Adam touch base and.
Okay,
get this resolved.
honestly, if he could reach out to me, that would be great.
Okay,
And then I will coordinate with him and Mark Palins. And then if we do need to go through this long permitting, Mark is gonna assist with all that, the paperwork and that stuff. And then we'll submit that and do whatever it is that the city needs us to do. But
okay, I'll have Adam reach out to you directly on that then. Hopefully we'll get this resolved.
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks.
Kurt.
Sounds good.
All right, that's going to conclude the director's report. I believe I have things to talk about in the executive session, though.
Okay, thank you, Dave. Check in real quick. Do we have anything for old business? Anybody have anything under that? All right, doesn't sound like it. So if that's the case, and I know we do have an executive session. This is regarding the lease or purchase of real estate. How much time would you like to start with? Dave, any thoughts on that? How much time for the discussion?
It'll probably take about a minute for me to explain it, and then for you guys to discuss where we're going with this thing.
Okay, well, maybe if that's the case, we'll start with 5 minutes, and if we need to extend, we will. And then I know there's a bit of a process, I think, with Rachel to, I don't know if there's anybody who is on here that can't be in the executive session, but maybe not. Maybe this will be easy. She just has to cut the link to the public feed.
Yeah, we're gonna clear the room also here.
Okay, all right. So we'll take just a minute to do that. We'll say that executive session will start at 10:25 and we'll go to 10:30 unless we need to extend. And this is under RCW 42.30.110, Section 1B. All right, then we'll go ahead, and I think we're okay to come out of executive session. We are at 10:37. And I'll have Rachel connect the link back up, unpause the link to YouTube.
Okay, I'm admitting Jerry back in. We're recording again, and we are live on YouTube.
Thank you, Rachel. All right, so we are out of executive session. No decisions at this point made. And then I guess I would check back in on our agenda. I don't think we had anything else listed. There was no need for a closed meeting, I do believe. So is there anything else for the good of the order from anybody?
Joe, I just noticed looking through who the board email goes out to, and we have the TAC groups on the agenda every time here lately, but Brandon Poff being the chair of the fire TAC is not on that. So can we get him added to that?
Yeah, good catch.
Yes, I will add.
Thanks, Bill. Anything else from anybody? Okay, I'm not seeing or hearing anybody, so I think with that, we're good. We'll go ahead and adjourn the meeting. Thank
Be
you, everybody.
safe.
Have a great day.
Thank you.